5 things Prahlad could not do in response to attacks by Krishna's mercy. Hari Suresho Narloka Pujito Hitaya Lokasya Chara Charasya Kritva Virupam Chapuratma Mayaya Hiranyakam Duhkakaram Nakhaish Chinat. Quote, Shri Hari, who is the Lord of the demigods, who is worshipped by the people of the world, for benefiting the moving and non-moving beings of the world, took that dreadful form through his own energy and tore apart Hiranyakashipu, who caused suffering to so many with his nails. Narasimha Purana, 44-43. It is a ghastly scene, blood and guts everywhere, death and destruction, delivered in a swift manner. With the comparison to Garud, who is the eagle carrier of Vishnu in the spiritual world, the reader understands that the victims could not get away. They were apprehended as quickly as the thought to flee came to them. The carnage was the consequence to a continuous onslaught, an attack against a 5-year-old child. As a thought exercise, we consider the different options that Prahlad had prior to the wonderful appearance of nursing in this world. 1. Call the authorities. If the same were to occur today, the obvious first step is to call someone. If the father is abusing the son might know of ways to reach out. Even at 5 years' age, they likely have seen someone using the telephone. They might have some numbers committed to memory, especially the one for connecting to an emergency response unit. If things get out of hand, the victim can petition a power with more authority than the perpetrator. The problem for Prahlad was that Hiranyakashipu was at the top of the chain. There was no higher mountain to ascend. There was no better level to reach. Hiranyakashipu was both the authority figure in the home and the leader of the community. Hiranyakashipu was Prahlad's father. He was also at the helm of a community that stretched its influence across the entire world. 2. Create weapons of his own. The attacks against Prahlad had a cause. There was instigation, but the claim of justification is disputed. Hiranyakashipu was triggered by visible signs of devotion. He did not like that Prahlad was worshipping Vishnu. This was not in the formal sense of a sacrificial fire or a timely observance. Prahlad was worshipping in his spare time, in the way that a child might decide to play or draw symbols near and dear to them. This almost made the situation worse, as Prahlad had a genuine sentiment. The boy was not looking to gain anything from the worship. The child might be excused once or twice, but to insist upon honoring Vishnu, in talking about him, in attributing the strength in everyone to him, was crossing the line. The father took it upon himself to hand down the stiff sentence. Prahlad was guilty. Instead of being sent to jail, he would be killed. Vishnu Shastreshu Yushma Sumayi Chaso Yatha Sthitah Daityayas Ten Satyen Ma Kramantva Ayudhani Vah. Quote, O Daityas, just as Vishnu is in those weapons and also situated in me, so by that truth your weapons will not be able to overcome me. Prahlad Maharaj, Vishnu Purana, 1:17-33. The attacks did not work. As Prahlad explained, Vishnu was the strength in those weapons. The same Vishnu would be the strength in Prahlad to fight off those weapons. Prahlad would have to fight off much more going forward. The worst kind of torture, indicative of the most envious character. Hiranyakashipu was shameless in what he attempted to put Prahlad through. Diggajair Dandashu Kendrair, Abhicharavapatane, Mayabhi sannirodhesh cha gardanair abhojanair him vaiv agnisalilay parvatakramanair api na shashak yada hantum apapam asurah sutam chintam dirghatamam praptas tatkartum nabhyapadyat. Quote, Hiranyakashipu could not kill his son by throwing him beneath the feet of big elephants, throwing him among huge, fearful snakes, employing destructive spells, hurling him from the top of a hill, conjuring up illusory tricks, administering poison, starving him, exposing him to severe cold, winds, fire and water, or throwing heavy stones to crush him. When Hiranyakashipu found that he could not in any way harm Prahlada, who was completely sinless, he was in great anxiety about what to do next. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5:43-44. Prahlada was 5 years of age. What weapons could he possibly find? If he could find them, how would he use them? How could one man, a novice, with barely any physical strength, compare against palace guards whose duty in adulthood it was to work at the behest of the leader? 3. Construct a safe space. Another option is to escape. Find a sanctuary of sorts. The problem is that a 5-year-old hardly knows how to be self-sufficient. It was the mothers dressing him properly when appearing before the father. It was the teachers running the school. It was Hiranyakashipu administering the kingdom. If Prahlada wanted to run away, to where would he flee? What would he do once he reached such a place? 4. Pacify the aggressors. Prahlada remained calm. He did not become angry or envious. He tried to rationally explain the science of self-realization. Those explanations carry forward to the present day. The kind instruction offered to the inimical Hiranyakashipu can be heard by the inimical population at large, which either thinks that there is no God or simply follows religion as a formality. Get a rubber stamp of approval, show up to a house of worship periodically, and spend the rest of the time miserable, envious, and so devoid of proper direction that a steady stream of intoxicants is the only way to pass the time. Prahlada spoke kind and cogent words, but his appeal was not getting anywhere. It was almost as if Hiranyakashipu became more aggressive the more he heard about Vishnu. The enmity ran deep. The willful ignorance was strongly rooted. 5. Attack his father. It might be easy to overlook that Hiranyakashipu was in the superior position based on more than just his being an adult. He had previously supplicated Lord Brahma, who is the creator. Hiranyakashipu managed to receive a bevy of boons offering protection. It was something like trying to create immortality through listing conditions of vulnerability. Different times of the day, different levels of elevation, different kinds of attackers, different kinds of weapons. Hiranyakashipu was sitting in an enviable position, and yet he was the envious one. He was so miserable that he felt triggered by an innocent child. Just what exactly could Prahlada do? There was no chance for an attack. Prahlada was a Daitya, after all. Hiranyakashipu was immune from death against man and beast alike. There was no specific race that could take him out. Prahlada had no means to defend himself, but when God is on your side, the defense is impenetrable. This reality has the corresponding visual of nursing tearing through the inimical father. Alas, it was Hiranyakashipu who could not find refuge when faced with Vishnu emerging from the pillar. As a half-man, half-lion using nails as weapons, even the boons of protection showed their porous nature. In closing, nothing Prahlad could do, boons protecting who? The Father from Brahma to receive, ironclad to believe, such that torments delivered in chorus, but soon those gifts proving porous, as nursing from pillar to conceive, God as terror, no one could believe.